With me for another edition of QB1 is talented quarterback expert Crissy Froyd to talk Stanford signal caller Tanner McKee. Crissy, what did Tanner McKee show last year that's causing him to build so much hype going into this offseason?
Yeah, well, last year, Tanner McKee was someone who garnered a little bit of hype, I'd say toward the middle of the season, and a lot of people seem to be hot and cold on him. That's something that kind of still feels that way. Finished out the year with a 65% completion rate, over 2,300 passing yards, 15 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. And that stat line, it kind of reflects the fact that we'd like to see a little bit more from him just in terms of a touchdown to interception ratio. I think a lot of the things that people like about Tanner McKee really come down to just how well they see him translating to the NFL based on what he's doing in Stanford, just in that offense. And this wouldn't be the first time that we've seen a quarterback from Stanford go on to get a shot in the NFL as a starter, and also not the first time we've seen a quarterback come out of this system and have success as a starter in the NFL.
Are there any specific traits that he has? Because going from the being good in college isn't necessarily definitely going to be good in the NFL. Are there any traits that he has that are very specific that could make him successful in the NFL?
Yeah, he's got a really good set of foundational traits and checks the box for sure on prototypical size, 6'6" and 228 pounds. Has some of the best footwork in the pocket in this class, good lower body mechanics, which anyone who knows quarterbacks knows that that's where accuracy starts. So that's kind of what that can be attributed to. He plays in an offense that has a lot of NFL concepts. They're adding more to it this season from what he told me. So it's something that really should just help him make a smooth transition to the NFL. He's not somebody who's going to kind of be in shock because he played in more of a system that asked him to pass the ball a lot, or some sort of complicated triple option, which at times can put quarterbacks at somewhat of a disadvantage just when it comes to picking up some new things.
And you mentioned a couple of his strong points and the things about his offense. Are there any other things he needs to do to increase his draft stock heading into 2023?
Yeah, I think at times we're seeing Tanner McKee just make some poor decisions in terms of throwing to a receiver that doesn't have a fighting chance to catch the ball. I don't think he does this on a regular basis. I think it's a matter of when he's under pressure. So I would like to see him, I guess it sounds cliche, have a little bit more ice in his veins and just make some better decisions when defenses are bringing the heat. But other than that, I mean, just trying not to force things, just to be careful with the football. And I think that he can really make some strides and rise up the draft boards if he does that.
And you mentioned earlier that you have spoken to him before. In those conversations with him, what have you gathered on in terms of him as a player, in terms of his as a person?
Yeah, this is a very mature quarterback who wants to win. He has the right mindset and an incredibly high football IQ. I think that that's something that's common in quarterbacks that come from universities like Stanford and that play in a West Coast offense like this. He told me he's excited about the things that Stanford is adding in, the things that Stanford feels that it can do this season. He told me that the goal is to put up 40 to 50 points per game and that they're not going to settle for anything less. I mean, that sounds like a bold statement, but this is a team that's coming out with a chip on its shoulder, something to prove after only getting 3 wins last season.